doing quite well. Thank you for sitting down with us.
Yeah, no problem. I'm thrilled to sit down here and talk to you. Well, I'm an author, and my book is Creating Healthy Children Through Attachment Parenting and Raw Foods, and I self-publish, so I have my Super Healthy Children publishing company. And I'm traveling around the United States doing my talks on creating healthy children, and also Eating for the A's, which is focused on healing children who have disorders of the A conditions, such as autoimmune disease, especially obesity, allergies, asthma, atopic conditions such as eczema and psoriasis, attention deficit disorder, Asperger's, and autism. And I'm also a speech and language pathologist, and I've worked with children for over 30 years in speech and language therapy, and I've been specializing with children who are on the autistic spectrum for the past 11 years.
And what have you experienced when children with autism begin to incorporate more raw foods in their diet?
You see tremendous progress, especially if they are getting out the processed and refined packaged foods and starting to eat an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables. And I've been working with some families. One woman whose child was labeled on the autistic spectrum, and we've been doing a series of talks together, and she's following through. She got rid of all the processed food in the house. They're vegan now, and she's giving her son a high volume of fresh fruits and vegetables. She's making him green smoothies, and he's eating salads, and he's starting to love it. And his tastes are changing, because when you're eating animal foods and processed foods, it really crowds out the taste for the fresh plant foods, and so you can't appreciate them. The taste buds are completely different. But when you start to eat more and more of our natural foods, then the taste buds change and want and actually crave those foods. I know sometimes I'll go into a health food store or to my local organic farmer, and I'll see a beautiful head of romaine, and I will just crave that romaine lettuce. Like, I can't wait to eat it. It might sound crazy to some people, but to me it's absolutely, that's what's normal. And so this one child who I've been working with, his mother, she's been telling me more recently that she does not consider him to be on the autistic spectrum anymore. That he is so much more alert and focused, and before his eye contact was fluctuating. And now he's looking at her every time that she talks to him. He's looking at other people as well, and his concentration is better, and some of the autistic behaviors that he had are extremely diminished, almost gone. So there's so much hope in an environment which is really fostering children to have neurological problems.
I thought that autism was genetically caused. What would be your response to that?
A lot of people think it is genetically caused, and it is possible that there's a genetic predisposition with some children. But the epidemic proportions that autism is at today, it's not possible that it can all be from genetics. In my state of New Jersey, I recently read where it was 1 in 49 children now on the autistic spectrum. So I really believe that we need to get out there. We need to show women who are pregnant that having diets and lifestyles that are filled with animal flesh and animal products and processed and refined foods, and very high in glutinous grains that are so acid forming in the body. We need to change that, as well as get back to nature. We need to get our families outside and getting our feet into the earth, and we need to be present for our children. So many women are going into the workforce full-time and not attending to their children. And so we need to go back to our roots. We need to do what's really priority here, and that's take care of our children and to eat an abundance of fresh plant food during pregnancy, and the food that the pregnant woman eats, if she's eating a high amount of fruits and vegetables, it goes into her amniotic fluid and into the child, and then the child will love fruits and vegetables. And this was even in the Pediatric Journal in 2007. Also, when the woman is nursing, if she's eating an abundance of fruits and vegetables, it goes into her breast milk, and her child will love fruits and vegetables. But even children who are living today on all of this processed and refined food that we have out there, even they can learn if a parent sets a really excellent example. If a parent is at home eating French fries and potato chips, then that's what the child will want to eat also. So the parent has to model healthy eating and eating an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables. And then the child will follow suit.
So how did you get started in this whole journey of raw vegan foods and a fruit-based diet?
I was introduced to it very early on in life, but I totally ignored it. My grandmother in the early 1920s was very sick with asthma and emphysema, and she was hospitalized, and the doctors gave her only several months to live. And so she got some information from a relative about a book that had come out around that time called the Mucous Diet Healing System. And she read that book, and she moved to a vegetarian diet pretty much overnight, and then to a vegan diet, and then to a diet that was vegan with mostly raw plant foods, fruits, green leaves, and vegetables. She didn't, back then they didn't use the word raw. She just told me, when I was a child, she told me she was just eating food the natural way that it was, uncooked. I mean, there's no secrets here. Everybody thinks raw food is this far away kind of goal to get to. We're just talking about the foods that were put on this earth by the Creator for us to eat, that are meant for the human body. And so that's what she ate, and even though I wasn't raised on that diet and lifestyle, which is the norm, the so-called normal way to live, I believe. I was raised on the standard American foods, and I was sick frequently throughout childhood. And then in my adolescence, I got cystic acne all over my face and back, and ended up with hydrocortisone shots in my face for 25 years. So I will tell you, that was not a pleasant experience. And when I went to raw vegan foods, after all those years of hydrocortisone shots, I could have gotten rid of it in 3 months. That's what happened. I got rid of it in 3 months. So anybody who has skin problems needs to listen very carefully to this. But also all the other ailments that we see, there's no reason that children or anybody needs to have asthma and allergies and all these other sicknesses that we get if we look at what we're eating, what we're breathing. Are we getting outdoors? Do we have positive, loving thoughts? It's all a whole part of the health picture. And so that's really what we have to be doing. And as I get older, I want to have energy. And fruits and vegetables are the foods that provide me with the energy that I need to have the active, happy lifestyle that I want.
How long have you been following a fruit-based diet?
I've been following a diet that's fruit, green leafy vegetables, and small amounts of nuts and seeds for over 18 years. Actually, at the beginning, the first few years, I have to say I ate a lot of nuts, a tremendous amount of nuts. And in the years following that, I realized that I was having digestive difficulties and wasn't doing as well as I saw some other people I knew who were low in the nuts and the seeds. And so I love green leafy vegetables. I eat loads of those, and I love fruit, and I love vegetables, and that's mostly what I eat. Do eat some of the overt fats, but much less than in my earlier days.
Great. And what experiences did you have with your children in raw foods?
My children, well, my son was very sick as a young infant, and the first 3 years of his life, he had asthma and chronic ear infections and multiple food allergies, and we tried all kinds of medicine, allopathic medicine, different alternative therapies that weren't looking at the cause of the problem. It was only trying to make a cure, which is what most people do. But once we realized that what was causing the problem was that my milk, I loved pasta and bread causes a chemical reaction in the body that acts almost like a drug and causes a sedating effect. And that was like my comfort foods. But those highly processed foods are very void in nutrients. So you're either eating maximum nutrients or you're consuming anti-nutrients. And that's really what those are. And so once I changed my diet and started eating the natural plant foods, that's when I also transitioned my children to raw foods, and my son healed from this condition in about 11 months or so. And he's never gotten it back, never gotten the asthma back. And they grew up eating fruits and vegetables. They did have nuts and seeds when they were having growth spurts and then when they had high physical activity, so I left that up to them. But they really loved the food that they ate, and it wasn't until they got to be adolescent and teenager that they felt that they wanted to fit in with their friends who were eating differently than they were. And so it was very hard for me because I believed that they were healthiest when they were living the raw food lifestyle. But eventually we as parents have to realize that we cannot force our children, especially when they're in their teenage years. When they were younger, I was the center of their universe, and I had the food in my home that I felt was the best, the fruits and the vegetables. And when they got older, they experimented, and they just had to learn on their own. My daughter at 21 called me from college, and she told me that she wasn't feeling well and that many of her friends were not feeling well either, and that they were taking medications already in their young adult years. And that really made me happy that she came back to it on her own. So it's okay if they go off for a while. Sometimes they have to learn and they have to experiment, and if they do come back, they really own it then. Then it's theirs.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'd like you to finish maybe with giving us some tips on how parents can incorporate more raw foods in their child's life, and then if you could kind of promote yourself and the things in the books and stuff, and where we could.
Okay. So I recommend, first of all, having a garden outside, and You could even have an indoor garden. You could. I have some friends who have wonderful indoor gardens, and I do some sprouting with my kids. You know, I've done that for many years. So you can do sprouting in the kitchen, even in the wintertime. Some people even have indoor gardens. You can have, the best thing is, to have your outdoor garden whenever whenever the weather permits. You go outside, you plant your food, you have the kids help you, and then you have them harvest the food. And sometimes a complete meal could be in the garden. So definitely have your children participating in that outdoors and nature. And volunteering for a local organic farmer. That's a great way to get the family involved with plant foods and getting their hands in the soil. Farmers love having volunteers. So get outside and do that too. There's also wonderful children's books on fruits and vegetables. And I bring a number of them with me when I travel.
Is there a list of those books that
I have a whole list of resources in the appendices of my book, Creating Healthy Children. And my book is Creating Healthy Children Through Attachment, Parenting, and Raw Foods. And chapter 28 is all families from around the world who have had healing stories, raw food pregnancies, and teenagers. And even if you don't want to go totally raw, the information in the book gives you loads of tips for how to easily increase with a lot of fun, a lot of family fun, how to increase your raw food lifestyle and how to make it fun for the whole family. Also, chapter 18 is all kid-tested recipes. Some of the recipes are from top raw food chefs, but all the recipes are simple. All the recipes only have several ingredients, and the kids could actually repeat them themselves and make them at home. And that's what I had my kids do, is to make a lot of the recipes themselves and serve my husband and I. And so that's the goal, is to get the kids totally immersed in your healthy lifestyle. And so there's my book, Creating Healthy Children, and that's on my website. My website is superhealthychildren.com, and I have a new YouTube channel, Super Healthy Children, and my Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Creating Healthy Children. That's the name of my book. And I will be coming out with a new book sometime late in the fall, closer to 2013, called Raw Food Fun for Families. And that's going to be all fun family recipes with fruits and vegetables.
I look forward to buying that book. Thank you for being such a beautiful influence, and thank you for this interview, Karen.
Thank you so much.
And it's a beautiful day.
Join us next week when we have on Dr. Robert Lockhart, a 68-year-old man who can walk on his hands across an entire football field.